The play A Doll's House labeled Norwegian Henrik Ibsen as the perpetrator of scandal in 1879 when the play was staged. In the debate over women's rights that was stirring worldwide, Ibsen confronted a storm of protests, especially from the patriarchal church, against a woman leaving her husband at the conclusion of the play. With no prior knowledge of Jung's theories of the Anima and Animus, Ibsen created a protagonist who begins as an Anima woman, attempting to enact her husband Thorvald's ideal woman, but who in the end rejects this persona and leaves him in search of self-realization. Father-child. Based on Thorvald's need for control over his wife and his own image, both of which are illusory, creating the tension of uncertainty about Nora's choices. Nora's loyal Ariadne, an old friend from school days, Mrs. Christine Lind, comes to visit Nora. Their conversation allows them to fill in the 10-year gap of news, including Nora's need to take in needlework to make ends meet, and Thorvald's exhaustion and illness that required a period of recuperation in Italy. Tremendous expense that Nora explains came from her papa. Thorvald recovered and returned to Norway, where he has just received a promotion in the bank and the promise of a secure future for his family. This situation, too, is an illusion, for although Thorvald has recovered, his debt is not to her papa who has since died, but to his wife, who secretly borrowed a large sum from a moneylender of questionable repute to pay for the expenses of his recuperation. The Tangled Web. By Act 2 the characters' lives have intertwined. Nora offers to help the widowed Mrs. Lind by telling her husband of her friend's accounting skills, which convinces Thorvald to give her a bank position recently become available with the termination of Nils Krogstad, the secret moneylender of Nora. Helmer. The deception indeed has led to a tangled web, but it will be the necessary test of the Anima for Nora and Thorvald. When Krogstad is fired, he will make public the news of the scandalous loan, an announcement that Thorvald's ego will not survive. Krogstad indeed sends Thorvald the note calling in the balance of the loan, and the letter sits untouched in the box. While Nora and Thorvald are upstairs at a holiday celebration, Christine and Krogstad meet, revealing their former love affair. Christine's good fortune leads her to offer Krogstad the security of marriage, and he accepts her offer, at the same time rescinding the loan to Nora. Thorvald's control. Unconscious that will allow him to mold and control her. A clear Anima projection. For her inability to understand how to act on your own responsibly, and insists that she lean on him who will advise and direct her in her womanly helplessness. He has broad wings to shelter his frightened little singing bird, and will protect her like a hunted dove. While Nora is getting dressed to leave him, although unknown to him, he tells her he has given her a new life Galatea, and she has become both archetypal wife and child to him. So you shall be for me after this, my little scared, helpless darling. Casting off the Anima. Nora, in each moment that passes, quietly looks inward, examining the undiscovered new woman inside her, and casting off the Anima projection she had abided for 8 years in her marriage. With her cold, set face, she makes Thorvald sit down while she tells him, for the first time, that they have never had a serious conversation as husband and wife. She is wary of being her papa's and now her husband's doll child, who must have the same opinions as and perform tricks for the men in her life. Their marriage and home have been nothing but a doll's house, and having been trained to be manipulated. According to Thorvald's wishes, she is not fit to be a mother either. She must stand alone and try to educate herself, for the understanding of the self is as sacred a duty as wife and mother. Thorvald challenges Nora's expectation that he could possibly sacrifice his honor for her, even while he fantasizes the shedding of his lifeblood for her, by telling her no man would do that. Her insightful response is, "It is a thing hundreds of thousands of women have done." The door closes behind her, and she is gone. The play has ended with Thorvald confused and befuddled. Nora has built Thorvald's symbolic mistress, the Anima projection that enslaved her, and now she is free to discover the person she is and can become. The cycle of the Anima. Perpetual in its motion, the projection of the anima, the images a man unconsciously collects of the ideal woman, is reinforced by the woman, who agrees to mirror those behaviors and mold herself accordingly to fit the projection. In each story, the female protagonist strives to conform to her husband's ideal at the time, and she slowly begins to think the way he does. His way becomes her way. His preferences become hers. In two other works of Anima women, Catherine Ann Porter's short story Maria Concepcion, and Fitzgerald's novel The Great Gatsby, the marriages remained intact only because the wives assent to relinquishing themselves. In Ibsen's play, The Doll's House, Nora must sacrifice her old life to be reborn as an authentic woman. Please see the following works. Jung C.G., The Basic Writings of C.G. Jung. Terence. Fr.F.C. Hull. Ed. Violet S.D. Laszlo. Ballin and Series. Princeton. Princeton of 1990. Ibsen Henrik. A Doll's House. Girard, Kansas. Haldeman Julius Company.